I was house-sitting for some friends for a few days and I thought I would do a little more experimenting with ODMS, 5-MeO AMT. I'd already taken it around 5 times previously, and figured my comfort dose was around 5 mg oral. 7 p.m. I take the 5 mg encapsulated with 500 mg vitamin C, with rosehips, and go to sit and watch TV while I await the effects. It comes on rather slow, gradually starts building from the 1.5 hours mark and doesn't come to its full effect until around the 3rd hour. Can't remember what was on TV. I think I watched Friends for a while but wasn't really paying attention. 8:15 p.m. I start to feel the uneasiness in the tummy this drug has been reported to cause. Try to fight it, but in about 15 minutes I have no choice but to purge. I shouldn't have eaten anything right before I took it. I started to notice the lights undulating and remembered I had to feed and put away the chickens, they get eaten by coyotes if they are left out. This is a big isolated desert house with a big backyard and all the few neighbors you have farm animals. Walking a bit strangely out the sliding glass door. It's pretty dark and creepy, especially because I'm not familiar with this area. Hurry back inside and lock all the doors in the house, then get some grapefruit juice. 9 p.m. I go to the bedroom furthest from the front of the house. I'm feeling a bit paranoid at this point, so I lay down and try to get my breathing, which had suddenly become rapid, under control. Major paresthesia at this point. The noises outside send chills down my spine that echo throughout the rest of my body. My head is ringing from the alarm which is acting up. It was supposed to be deactivated, but apparently my use of the AC had somehow set the motion sensors in back door and the hallway that allows access to the rooms. Every time you go through it, the alarm goes off for 10 minuets. It was quite annoying. Almost 10 minutes later, I went back out to the front room to lay down with the lights off and relax. The alarm goes off shortly after I get out there and I'm starting to get some mild visuals. Patterns everywhere my attention goes to and my body feels cold. 10 p.m. I had been enjoying the visuals and carefree feeling that I had no obligations for the next few days and could just kick back. Then I started getting seriously paranoid when my mind began making horrible scenarios that were very unlikely to happen, but wouldn't go away. I was hearing noises inside and outside and wondering what I would do if something did happen. This wasn't very good for the trip, obviously, so I told myself it was just paranoid delusional thoughts and I would be fine. I calmed down, but still couldn't shake the thoughts. Going into the rec room, I decided to have a talk with their macaw. I needed company of some kind. I began feeling bad for the mean old bastard because he was locked in the cage, and what I thought, bored as hell all day long. I noticed he was ruffling his feathers a lot, like he was getting the chills I was from the drug. The definition for contact high in Tickle says animals are especially tuned into this, and I thought that's what it was. 11 p.m. I spent a surprisingly long time with that bird. Around 30 minutes. After which I tried to play a little guitar. I had brought mine with me. It wasn't the time for that, though. I needed to lay down and think. There was a lot on my mind, and trying to do something I wasn't really interested in was a large waste of time. I contemplated the dark and light, and assigned each an innate feeling. Darkness represented the unfamiliar, and light represented everything familiar. I decided there is never actual, total darkness because life, consciousness equals light, and the whole everything that just is would have to cease to exist for there to be total darkness. So total darkness equals nothingness and everything is istigkit. Does that make any sense? It made perfect sense to me at the time. Now, instead of viewing the unknown, where I was at the time, as something that could be bad, I made it something that could be good, which brought me much peace of mind. 12 a.m. Thinking of the word istigkit, I began thinking of other concepts I'd read about through Aldous Huxley. Here and Now made so much sense. I went to get my parakeets to play with for a while and realized animals are constantly experiencing this. That is where they are always and forever living, here and now. What a charming role to play in life. While watching the 2 little buggers bite me and ruffle their feathers, I glanced down to see a few tiny green piles of you-know-what and thought it'd be a good idea to put them away for now. 1:30 a.m. From here on out my memory is a blank. I'm sure most of the dead air on the tape recorder, my mind, was a lot of tangential, nonlinear insights. All forgotten, like thoughts inside a dream. Somewhere around 4 a.m. I had a bad spell of loneliness. Would my best friend all the way on the other side of the country appreciate a 7 o'clock wake-up call from his favorite person? He. I didn't think so. Went to talk to the macaw some more. He seemed especially agitated and jumpy, probably because I just woke him up. I put my hand on the cage and the fucker lunged at me from his wood stand and almost bit my hand off. Okay. I'm going. 5 a.m. Watch the morning news for a bit, then turn on the movie, The Mummy, on DVD in the front room with their 72-feet TV. I had it turned up loud so it would have a better effect on me and drown out any other noises that might evoke paranoia. 7 a.m. The sun's up. Familiarity is up. And I felt so darn good I did myself a little dancing. Watered Mia's dying trees. She thinks she can have this beautiful garden in the desert, but all her trees die. Let the chickens out, give them water and food, collect their eggs, then it's off to sleepy land. Well, maybe a joint and a half to help me rest easy. 9:30 a.m. I fall asleep around this time and don't really have any recollection of my dreams, which is strange for this drug, but probably due to the pot. Summary. Maybe a little too much paranoia. The trip seems to start off with lots of empathy and even some depression, for me at least, then it rolls into the psychedelic stages. Pounds you for about 6 hours with heavy thinking, then there's just the body high and reflective thinking. The visuals were there the whole way along the trip, but my mind was never silent enough to pay much attention to them. Grapefruit juice is a must for psychedelics. I drank around 4 large cups worth through the course of the night. Like another report I read mentions, this is a bit like candy flipping because of the empathy of ecstasy plus psychedelic, philosopher head, of LSD, psilocybin. But it has its own unique feel and its own string on the harp of psychedelics.